Youthpoints here on the Talk Station FM 107 AM 1240. I want to thank Zach and Russell for taking the time to be with me this afternoon on the program. And it is really impressive, the conversation we're having, and it has to do with social media. So my question to you, Russell and Zach, you recognize that there are definite flaws in social media. Let's be candid. You guys are thinkers. The vast majority of people that are reading social media are not thinking, at best they're thinking halfway, and they don't want to get too involved, and they don't want to go too deep into the story. It meets their image, their narrative, which is something you've been describing for the whole 45 minutes we've been talking about this, Zach.
Yeah.
It fits their narrative. Okay, what can we do about social media?
I don't know. I'm gonna stick to my guns on this. I don't think social media is taking the money and running, but I mean it's a cultural problem. It's at the very base of what we're raised on. It's your family life. It's what you've been told. It's what your culture's told you. It's what your music is telling you. And social media is just how you spread that. And what I think the problem is there's not a hunger for, I don't want to say hunger for knowledge, but that's really cliche, but there's no hunger for knowledge to know more about what's going on. For the vast majority of teens and the vast majority of youths, there is this idea that the headline is the story, and after that it's over. And so there's no hunger to open up that article and read fully and get the details. You can read, a story that says purple elephant jumps off the roof and flies home, and that's fine. And that for the vast majority of teens, the vast majority of youth, that's fine. That's all we need. We're done. We're full. And for the small population, the few people in the crowd that want to know more, that's the people who understand the problem fully and can talk about it on a radio show.
Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, especially our age, I mean, of all ages actually, because your Uncle Robert can do this just as well as my friend, Russell can. I don't. But people, I'm not saying this Russell, but just anyone our age, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram aren't platforms to seek out truth and work to a conclusion. They're platforms to just state your opinion and then yell it so you can be right and argue with someone. I mean, the vast majority, and I mean the majority of all people, not majority racially, the vast majority of people on Facebook are just trying to convince other people about their opinion. They're not trying to have a discussion or a conversation about anything.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, and we know from our own history that progress is made when discussions happen. Even when people disagree, that's when the most progress is made.
Nobody is willing to talk about the problem. Everybody is willing to just say they're part of the problem and say it as loud as they possibly can.
And we're honestly seeing it perfectly here because, I mean, the Black Lives Matter movement does have a few bases for, what they say. I mean, black people are killed by police proportionally higher than white people based on populations in the country. But black people also commit much higher violent crime, have much higher violent crime rates and things like that, crime rates in general. So the story goes deeper than people look, and there's not an easy solution.
Here's the thing. You're the users of this product. This goes back to the issue divided country. This is your country we're talking about. By the way, the audience can't see my histrionics. I'm pointing at the two of them on either side of me. I mean, this is significant. Where do we go? You mentioned the cultural issue.
It's for me.
You mentioned the music.
For me, it's got to be music. It's got to be culture. It's got to be what you learn at the house. And then from that point on, your opinions change. I mean, you have to have more discussions like we're having right now, even if it's not facilitated by an adult. Even if it's just friends sitting around on a Friday night. We have to consciously decide that we want to talk about the problem there to be a solution to the problem.
I mean, over the last 20 years, 50 years, really, people have been taught to be better consumers of like products and cars and food and stuff. So in the same way, I think we have to find ways to teach people to be better consumers of media.
And the media that we're dealing with right now is so infantile that, I mean, just like Zach was saying, I mean, with cars, your dietary needs. Social media is so new that I don't think as a country we've fully learned how to use it to its full potential, and we're misusing it.
I mean, there's no one teaching kids how to read the right stuff or, weed through what's true. I mean, I saw an adult share an article the other day from a site that was everyone knows is a fake news site.
Right.
But they were outraged because of the story, and then 2 days later they posted an amendment saying, "I found out that was a wrong post. Sorry." But they were,
the damage is already done.
Yeah, they were cussing and starting arguments in their first post when it was a wrong story.
I, by the way, got to make mention of this. Saw a great piece. Now I'm going to go out on a limb. I haven't even checked it out, but apparently, surfers are being fined for more than 3 waves.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and like exactly what you're saying
When
now.
I first read it,
I saw people freaking out about that on my Facebook feed. They were having a cow, and honestly, I had to. I couldn't even say anything to him.
Yeah,
I had to log out. There's enough Facebook for that day.
There's been a lot of fake stories too about this new game, Pokemon Go, about car wrecks and stuff, and a lot of them have been false.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's a story that Shelley Palmer writes about as well. All right. To Zach and to Russell, great program. I really appreciate it. We've got a bunch of clips we're going to use, and we're going to be sending this off to some folks, too, because I think their observations warrant discussion in the future. To Russell and to Zach and to the callers, thank you very much for your patience with me, with us, for participating here on Youth Points on the Talk Station FM 107 AM 1240.